Good morning, everyone. This is on. Yep. Thank you, Carol, for your lovely playing. We always enjoy that. So, good day and welcome to today's worship service. I'm very grateful that you're all here today. My name is Liz Wolf. I'm the service coordinator for today here at All Souls Church, where our mission is to seek truth, practice love, and celebrate life. Whether you're joining us for the first time or you've been a member for a long time, you are all welcome here. Whatever other faiths you have known or not known, or whatever your heritage, you're welcome here. Today's service explores the UU Principles number 4, a free and responsible search for truth and meaning, and number 7, respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. So today's announcements, we've got a couple things. First is Sanaz restaurant on 8th Street is serving a fundraiser today to benefit World Central Kitchen in Lebanon from 10:30 to 2 p.m., requesting a $20 donation. 100% of proceeds will be donated to the WC Kitchen. And the other announcement that I have is this year's pledge drive will kick off Sunday, May 3rd. The theme is I'm in, as you can see with our signs up. We'll be having a brunch at Eliza's Kitchen at 11 a.m. following the service on that day. The pledge team will have pledge cards available at that time, and this is a critical time for our financial health. So how am I in? I'm in because I need the company of fellow seekers. I'm in because of the 7 principles that speak to me and provide my cornerstones. I'm in because of the inclusivity that we offer here. I'm also in because I'm invested, and I know there'll be a lot of in words from people. I'm invested in our growth. I'm invested in our building. I'm invested in each and every one of you here, and I feel the same back. So, and we'll be speaking not today, but another time about our financial situation. As we have every Sunday, you are invited to stay for conversation, coffee, and a circle discussion with Eric afterwards. And are there any other announcements? Okay, prelude. Now is the time for the chalice lighting, and it's number 453. And I'll read the statement. May the light we now kindle inspire us to use our powers to heal and not to harm, to help and not to hinder, to bless and not to curse, to serve you, Spirit of freedom. Our first song is number 145, As Tranquil Streams. Please rise if you are able, and we will sing. And our first reading is number 470. And I will read the regular text, and if you could join me in the italicized. Affirmation. We affirm the unfailing renewal of life, rising from the earth and reaching out for the sun. All living creatures shall fulfill themselves. We affirm the steady growth of human companionship, rising from ancient cradles and reaching for the stars. People the world over shall seek the ways of understanding. We affirm a continuing hope that out of every tragedy, the spirits of individuals shall rise to build a better world. Leonard Mason. And now we'll have our story for all ages, and Eric's going to be reading.
I don't read that much. I ask questions. And if you weren't the only child here, I'd be asking questions to everyone because they could all be kids. What is time? It's really hard. According to one dictionary, it's the continuous progression of existence that occurs in apparent irreversible succession from the past through the present into the future. It's quite a definition. It's wordy. You can tell a teacher wrote it. But what is time? Is it the space between now and then? Or is it the space between now and in just a while? Can you see it? No. Can you feel it? No. Can you measure it? Yes. Mhm. Does time go slow, or is it just a feeling that changes? For me, time passes really slow when I'm waiting in the dentist's office, waiting to be called in. Or super really slow when I'm on a trip and someone in the back seat says, "Are we there yet?" But it goes really fast if I'm playing or doing something I enjoy or working really hard on a project or writing. Now, imagine you're a bug. You come out of the ground, you mate and lay eggs and die in just a couple of days. Would time go really fast for them? Yeah. They've got a lot to do in just a short time. Now imagine you're an elephant or a big land tortoise and can live as long or longer than a person. Do you think that time goes really fast for them or pretty slow? Because they can always think, I got time to do it later. Slow, okay. Do plants know time? No. Well, they always know when to grow, when to blossom, or lose their leaves in the fall. Do they measure time or something else like sunlight, temperature, or length of day? So, lots of questions. Today, we're going to be talking about the earth and how we use time to think about it. But before you go downstairs, do you want to hear the grown-ups groan? So what do you do when you hear a bad joke? You groan. We're talking about time. Do you know that time flies like an arrow, but fruit flies like a banana? Okay. Thank you very much. Okay.
So, in this congregation, we have found it helpful to share the ups and downs of our lives by the practice of taking a stone from the bowl, holding it in our hand, warming it, and expressing our thoughts of joy and or concern, and then placing the stone in the water so that the ripples of the water carry our joys and concerns out into the wider world. And I will be the first. Oh, I'll hold it out here. There. Okay. So my concern is that we had to move my dad into my house yesterday. So he is struggling with hallucinations, and so he needs to be around somebody all the time. So we've done that, and it's all good. And we're keeping his apartment for a while, so until he really feels like this is the exact decision he wants to make, because it's his. So there's that. Thank you.
We're saddened to learn recently of the passing of Gordon Scott last Wednesday. It was a surprise to his family as well. He had been actually doing a little better at the Avera Prince of Peace facility where he was, and he was kind of resigned to being there. And anyway, there was one grandchild with him, and I think another family as well, family member. So there are no public services announced, but we can get a address for Sally, his wife, who's at a facility in Brookings. So we'll publish that in the newsletter on Wednesday. So concern and gratitude for his life and concern for Gordon's family. Gordon had been a member here since 1999.
Well, I've had a very wonderful weekend. A dear friend from Montana came to visit me, and she is someone that we knew when we lived in Montana, her mother and her husband, and this lady whose name is Jackie, and she's sitting right here. She came to the service today to share it, so she could share this with me, and she will be going back. She's traveled all the way by herself, all the way to the East Coast and back. And so we had a wonderful time yesterday. We went to the Music Museum and we've had lunch different places. So um, be sure to say hello to her. She's right here. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm really glad to see Pat and Connie back. I hope you're doing really well. And I made an announcement last week that Ann Essie's grandson was in a terrible bus crash in Florida. So I have a card that I'll put on a back table if you'd like to sign it for her and her family. And I have a card for Gordon Scott's family that I'll put back there as well if you'd like to sign that.
Hi, I'm Steve, and I was thinking about this on the way over here, not having any idea what Eric was going to talk about today. But yesterday I made 2 trips across town and back. First time in my gas car, and I figured I spent about $2 in gas to do that. Second time it was in my electric car, and I think I spent 25 cents. So I'm concerned about gas prices, but I have a joy that we do live in the 21st century, and things can get better.
My name's Eric, and yesterday I was at a memorial service for an extended family member, and cousins were in from Nevada, California, Minnesota, just all over the place, and just the feeling of family, the feeling of friendship is just wonderful. So my stone is in gratitude for those feelings.
Hi, my name's Edie and Hapke. Jennifer and I would like to wish Elizabeth Strutz well-being and such. She had something happen, and we don't know what happened, but I hope that she's going to recover from it and stuff and be able to be back in her home and such. So I also want to continue our thoughts and prayers to Amber. She's 37 years old, and she had a stroke some time ago, and hope that she's recovered from that and such, continuing with her rehab and such. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dan Ricci. I was happy to attend a roundtable where mayoral candidates, school board candidates, and others were at tables. There were 11 tables all the way around over at a Lutheran church on 10th Avenue there. Anyway, it was really interesting to go 10 or 11 minutes where we were able to ask questions of these candidates for these various offices. And one of the things that impressed me is the quality of candidates running for office and the opportunity to see that they are addressing. Just one example, in the school board, a lot of us are wondering what AI has to do with our youth. Kids who go home and can get a paper written for the next day done by AI, and they can't even read. At our different grade levels, I found that 50% of the kids who are going to school are not reading at the level of their age for their grade. Reading basic stuff, and they're having AI do a lot of things for them, and they aren't even understanding what AI is saying. So it was a real interesting thing where we could talk with those who are going to be on the school board as they address these issues and say, how can teachers creatively deal with this situation? Well, anyway, that was just one topic that was discussed, but it was really a good experience for me. And I want you to know that as elections come to choose our candidates for a mayor for Sioux Falls and school board members and representatives for our districts, there's some really good people here. They have good experience, they have good backgrounds, and it's really nice to be part of that experience. So thankfulness for those folks.
I'm Catherine, and just wanted to share about a fun second grade musical production that we went to at an elementary school in town this week. It was about 130 second graders from one school, all performing in Spanish. Because they're bilingual, they did a couple of songs for us in English for the monolinguals in the audience. But just a stone of gratitude for, it was about Aesop's fables. So they were all in costumes, singing and acting. So stone of gratitude for the public school teachers out there still doing the work.
All right, I'll put a final stone in for all of the joys and concerns, spoken and not spoken, and give us up a moment to think about everything that was said today and to give time and pause for all of the concerns that are out there. So on to our second reading, which is number 529. And there is no italicized on this. It is the stream of life. The same stream of life that runs through my veins, night and day, runs through the world and dances in rhythmic measures. It is the same life that shoots in joy through the dust of the earth in numberless blades of grass and breaks in tumultuous waves of leaves and flowers. It is the same life that is rocked in the ocean cradle of birth and death, in ebb and in flow. I feel my limbs are made glorious by the touch of this world of life. And my pride is from the life throb of ages dancing in my blood this moment. So for our second song, it's number 298, Wake Now My Senses, and we will be reading, just singing 1 through 4. And now, the message for this service is from our own Eric Berg, The Earth, Then and Now.
I have to admit that Gordon's passing has thrown me for a loop. But this morning we've been talking about time and perceptions of time. I would like to explain how I look at the earth from my point of view. Now, be aware that my perspective is what some may call tainted. I've had earth sciences, including glaciology, hydrology, meteorology, and graduate level geography from SDSU. So I am tainted. And now I will start the high-tech portion of the show. Does this work? Does this work? Okay. This roll of paper is about 5 meters long. Each meter represents 1 billion years. Each millimeter represents 1 million years. The start here is now, and the far end is then. For a quick review of the timeline, let's start. And here, the first shelled animals, sharks, land plants, trees, the first mammals, flowering plants. And for hominids and Homo sapiens, we're just at the very edge of the paper. We're not even wide. So you see, our relationship with the earth and how long Homo sapiens have been around were really not that much of a big deal, time-wise. But now let's discuss the past 500,000 years. Thick ice sheets advanced and ebbed across the mid to upper latitudes of Earth's northern hemisphere, going as far south as the Missouri River, southern Illinois, and Indiana. Now, when an ice sheet hundreds of feet thick form across a continent, water is taken up and locked up as ice. The sea level drops relative to the land, and the shorelines move out. There have been 5 or 6 major ice ages in the Earth's history over the past 3 billion years. Now, within an ice age, there are periods of advances and retreats, referred to as glacial periods and interglacial periods. The Earth is currently in an interglacial period, with the last glacial advance ending about 11,000 years ago. In Europe, during the most recent glacial advance, the North Sea and much of the British Isles were covered with ice, and the sea level was down 390 feet. The climate started warming, and around 14,000 years ago, Great Britain, as well as much of the North Sea and the English Channel, developed into areas of tundra. Human settlement followed the retreat of the ice shield. Now, when things warm up and ice sheets recede, water is released and melts and is freed up, and the sea level rises again. What had been down by the water's edge is now submerged. The landscape changed, and populations, cities, and civilizations that had followed the shoreline disappeared. This gives rise to the legends of lost cities. The Mediterranean Sea filled, covering ancient cities. Doggerland, that area of land between Scotland and Norway, that lowland, in the North Sea, was submerged. And what was previously the British peninsula of the European mainland became islands again around 8,500 years ago. Here in North America, the Wisconsin glaciation extended from about 75,000 to 11,000 years ago. We can see evidence of the last glaciation here in South Dakota. The landscape is new. About 10,000 years old since the retreats. The land here has not developed drainage patterns, so we see prairie potholes, wetlands, marshes, moraines, and terminal moraines throughout the region. Now, it's time for the next PowerPoint presentation. This represents the past 500,000 years ago. Now, 500,000 years ago, that's only 5 millimeters on this one. So that, excuse me, half a millimeter. Yeah, half a millimeter. Each centimeter is 2,000 years. The white reminds us of ice and snow and signifies glacial advances. The blue, symbolizing water, represents the interglacial periods of warmer times when the ice sheets have retreated to the higher latitudes. Remember, we are in an interglacial period in the current ice age. The Earth's poles are still covered with ice, and much of the northern Asian continent and the North American continent still have areas in permafrost. What are the driving factors that make the Earth switch from one mode to the other? The main driving force for everything on the Earth is the sun and Earth's relationship to the sun. The Earth does not go in a perfect circle around the sun, and it wobbles. There are 4 major components of how we face the sun. The top 3 are orbital eccentricity. The Earth's orbit varies between nearly circular and mildly elliptical. When the orbit is longer than it is wide, there's a variation in the distance between the Earth and the sun and in the amount of solar radiation reaching the Earth. The duration of this cycle is about 100,000 years. Number 2, obliquity. The rotational tilt of the Earth, its obliquity, changes slightly. You notice whenever you see a globe, it's not straight up and down. It's always tilted. That's its obliquity. The angle of the Earth's tilt varies between 22 and 24.5 degrees, over a cycle of 41,000 years. 41,000 years. The current tilt is 23.5 degrees, roughly halfway between its extreme values. The tilt reached its last maximum about 10,700 years ago, and it is now decreasing. It's becoming more upright again and will reach its minimum around 9,800 years from now. Increased tilt provides more solar gain in summer and less in winter. And a greater tilt increases the total amount of solar gain at higher latitudes, where we are, and decreases total to the equator. We are in the decreasing tilt stage. It's starting to tip back up again. The third one is axial precession. Axial precession is the change in the direction of Earth's axis relative to the fixed stars. This motion means that eventually Polaris will no longer be our North Star. It will shift, point different. This precession is caused by the tidal forces exerted by the sun and the moon on the rotating Earth. It has a duration of 25,700 years. So we have a cycle of 100,000 years, a cycle of 41,000 years, a cycle of 25,500 years. The Milankovitch cycle describes the cumulative effects of these changes in the Earth's orbit around the sun and on the climate over thousands of years. The phenomenon is named after the Serbian geophysicist and astronomer Milutin Milankovitch. He studied the Earth's relationship to the sun and compared them to the Earth's geologic record of the current ice age and found that it was a predictor of when the glacial periods and interglacial periods were to occur. At present, the theory is still being studied, tweaked, and argued, but is generally accepted. During the interglacials, the climate does fluctuate. The Earth is still active, and a catastrophic event like a major volcano can eject megatons of sulfur compounds and ash into the upper atmosphere and can cool the planet for several years. The year with no summer was the result of the 1815 eruption of Mount Tambora in Indonesia. And this eruption was the largest since the volcanic winter of 536. There was a poorly named Little Ice Age, which lasted a couple hundred years from the 1400s to 1600s. But so you see, the climate has always fluctuated, always will. Now, the front cover of today's order of service shows the fluctuations over the past 10,000 years. And you can see how it goes up and down. How we view these fluctuations goes back to our personal view of time relative to the Earth. How we view man's time versus Earth's time influences how we feel about climate change. In the early 1970s, magazines and scientists were caught up in the coming ice age. Books, sensationalist movies did well financially by hyping it. Science museums installed dioramas showing ice sheets rolling through the cities. In the 2000s, global warming filled the same gap. It was picked up and exploited using the same tactics. When the observed science did not reach the extreme hype, the language was changed to anthropomorphic global warming. When they found that that really didn't work quite so much, they generalized it to climate change. But again, it comes down to how we view time. Do we take the long view or the short term? In business, do we look at sustainability or at the upcoming quarterly reports? Do we burn up our hydrocarbon resources or promote energy conservation? Do we mine our soil for maximum agricultural production, or do we use sustainable farming practices? A month ago, I saw soil blowing across the roads due to poor farming practices and due to the removal of the windbreaks that were planted after the dirty 30s. In Western culture, we tend to view time as linear. I have this much time to do this, that much time to do that, and if I don't get it done, it is gone. It is behind you. We view it linear. Whereas Eastern cultures view time as circular. Things come back around. Personally, I tend to view time as a spiral. It comes back around, but just a little further on. Time and Mother Nature will always have the final say. We are pretty small in the big scheme of things. I just hope that we're around long enough as a species to adapt to the new normal when it returns. Thank you.
That was great. Thank you so much. I'm a little bit of the paper person yet still, so you're lucky. Yep. Oh, so now is the time when we ask for your help to do the work of our church through an offering. Half of the cash funds in the collection plate today will go to South Dakota Voices for Peace. Thank you. Now for our third song, number 301, Touch the Earth, Reach the Sky. And for our third reading is number 710, I Lift My Eyes to the Mountains. I lift my eyes to the mountains. Ah, where is help to come from? Help comes from the Eternal, who made heaven and earth. The Eternal guards you, sheltering you. The Eternal will protect you as you come and go, now and forever. And now we will extinguish the chalice. The chalice is extinguished, but the light goes with us out into the world.